boy. Welcome back, guys. We got $1 million question today. So, you're not from Alaska. Where are you from? I'll tell you. We're actually from North Carolina. So, we got a lot of new subscribers and they want to know where we're from. How do we get? So, we got to go to town to get some supplies. So while we're driving into town, we'll give you a little story of how we went from North Carolina to Alaska. Stay tuned. So I haven't talked about this yet, but you know, my line of work is what took me to Alaska. So what I do for a living is I cut meat. I'm a butcher. I know there's a lot of different ways to say it. I know some, and I've come across some butchers that don't want to be called butchers. I've come across some that don't want to be called meat cutters. I don't care what I'm called. That's what I do. I cut meat. I've been doing it since I was 16 years old. I've been in the grocery business, and in 2015 we had an opportunity to move to Alaska. There was a job posted on Facebook, and my wife told me about it one night when I got home from work. I was kind of having a bad day. I had a good friend pass away all of a sudden. He was pretty young at the time. I mean, he wasn't but 40 years old. And I just felt like, you know, if there was a time in my life where moving to Alaska was possible and it was something I really wanted to do, then I better jump on it. So I filled out the little questionnaire. I sent it in. And it won't but like 2 days later, the man who owned a store up in Alaska, he contacted me. He asked me to do a little research on Ketchikan, because it wasn't like the interior of Alaska. Ketchikan is in southeast. It rains pretty heavily in that climate down there, and he wanted to make sure that if this was something I wanted to do, that I needed to do some research on it. So me and my wife, we've done a little bit of research, and we said, hey, you know, let's call him back, see what he wanted us to do, and we'll go from there. Like I said, we called him back, and he said that he wanted me to write him a letter, tell him about my family, my goals. He necessarily didn't want any work history or references, which I thought was kind of odd. You know, we found this job on Facebook. I mean, is this a scam? I mean, were we really going to, you know, move to Alaska or even apply for a job? So I sat down. You know, I'm a meat cutter. I'm no storyteller. I'm really no, you know, professional writer. So I wrote him a letter outlining, you know, my goals, my family, you know, stuff like that he wanted in the letter. Gave the letter to my wife. She's the smart one in the family. I'm not. She proofreaded the letter, and let me tell you, I had a lot of spelling errors, grammar. I'm a redneck from North Carolina. You know, I don't write correctly. So I was kind of nervous because she took this letter and she typed it up. And the man told me he wanted a letter from me of all these criteria he wanted. So when she wasn't looking, she had already typed the letter and put it in the envelope. So when she wasn't paying attention, I took that handwritten letter that she had marked all over. I mean, it looked like something your school teacher done. I stuck that in the envelope, and I stuck a family photo, and I mailed it off without her knowing. So a good week went by, and I got a call. My wife was sitting right there, and I had him on speakerphone. And I answered the phone. I said, hello. And as soon as I said hello, he started laughing. And my wife, she had no idea what I had done. And he's like, I think you're the right man for the job. I loved your letter. He said that I could tell right off the bat you were a meat cutter. And I went to proceed to tell him that I was sorry that there was 2 letters in the envelope. And you should have seen my wife's face. She was madder than a satin hen, wet satin hen, son. She did not know that I had done that. She's just finding out when I'm explaining it to him. And I said, yeah, I said, I was pretty nervous. I said, you told me to write a letter, and my wife, she proofreaded the letter, and she typed her own letter, and, you know, trying to say what I was trying to say. And I got a little nervous because I figured that you wanted a handwritten letter, and you didn't want no type letter. So I stuck 2 letters in one envelope and the family photo. He said he loved the family photo. He still has it to this day. And my wife, she was mad. Well, it must have worked, because he wanted to send me and my wife a plane ticket to fly up to Alaska in June to interview for the job. We were there for a whole week. We went through the whole interview process, and midweek he had chosen me and my wife, because there was another family up there at the time interviewing for the same job. So he picked us. They paid for all the moving expenses and everything. So in July of 2015, we loaded up the family and we set course to move across the country. So we spent 10 wonderful years in Ketchikan, and I would have to say probably the only thing that we really didn't enjoy was all the rain. That kind of is what drove us away. Somewhat of the isolation of living on an island, because it was so hard trying to get off to come back to the East Coast to see family. So all in all, we had a great time in Alaska, and it just wasn't the place for us to spend the rest of our lives. We knew we wanted to start a homestead, and Maine was our next journey. So we want to thank everybody for following along. And down in the comments, tell us what, was one of your wild adventures in life, if you had any. And believe me, you're never too young or too old to enjoy life. So if there's something out there that you want to do, just do it. I mean, the way we felt about it is, if it didn't work out, we can always come home. We had plenty of family that would help us get back home if that was something we really wanted to do. So if there's something ever out there that you want to do, just do it. You don't want to have any regrets in life. And that was one thing that we decided that we didn't want, is regret. So